Yo guys, it's Kyle coming at you from Bane's Film Reviews. I just saw Speak No Evil, directed by James Watkins, starring James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, and Scoot McNairy. This is a film that I've been looking forward to for a while, and I've seen more horror films this year than I think maybe in my entire life combined. I don't know what it is, but this seems to be the year of horror films between Blumhouse and A24. There's been some really wonderful horror films, and I was hoping that this would be the next in, again, a really long slate of films that I've seen this year that really impressed me from the horror genre. I was thoroughly impressed from start to finish, and the primary reason for that is James McAvoy. James McAvoy, as we all know, is an incredibly talented actor, going all the way back to his days in Wanted, to his time as Charles Xavier. But his performance in this, and I've said it a couple of times, I said it with Josh Hartnett in Trap, and I said it with Channing Tatum in Blink Twice, this might be McAvoy's best performance to date. I'm so impressed with the films this year, and specifically with the acting of some of these already well-known, well-established, really talented actors. And McAvoy is just brilliant in this role. He is creepy. He got ripped for this role. And while that doesn't seem like, this doesn't really necessarily, it doesn't need to be a role with, someone who is incredibly muscular in that role, but it makes him physically imposing in a way that lends itself to a successful narrative, and it allows a narrative to flow better. It allows his character to develop better, and I'm really impressed with all that he did in preparation for and in effectively bringing this character to life. I, again, think this is a pretty interesting narrative. I don't know why the person behind me is flashing me, but I enjoy this story a lot. I often find horror films to be oddly coincidental and convenient in order to develop the plots and drive it forward. There was one instance of that, and I don't think it ruins the film. It's obvious, and I think viewers know that it's coming. I figured it was coming before it actually happened. I'm not some genius. It's just that Watkins lets us know ahead of time that something is going to happen. It's a bit silly, but I guess it plays well in the grand scheme of this narrative and with these characters. But I don't think that there's too many convenient plot devices in this film. I think things flow very nicely and feel relatively organic in what is a very twisted and odd film. In a good way, in a very good way. I love the direction of this film. The cinematography is wonderful, and the score paired with James McAvoy, the way they use it to represent his character's actions, his character's story, his movements, and then just particularly when he's on screen, there is a change in tone and pitch within the score that just lets you know that something is off. You don't know exactly what that thing is until pretty late into the film. You have an inkling of the grander scale of things, but the specific thing that's happening, they keep pretty well under wraps for the majority of the film. But the score helps to develop this story so well, and the film as a whole incredibly well. I am thoroughly impressed with this film, and it, again, with there being so many great horror films and horror-adjacent films like Blink Twice existing this year, it's hard to say that this is the best horror film, but off the top of my head, I'm struggling, other than Longlegs, to think of a film that a horror film that I believe is truly better than this that came out in 2024. So with that said, I think that Speak No Evil is an 8.5 out of 10. I think that you should spend your time and your hard-earned money to watch this film. Now, if you want to go to theaters and watch it, I thought the theater experience was very cool. Again, that use of sound. I had a particularly good group of people in the theater with me. They weren't overly chatty, but they did a very good job of playing along and being interactive with the film, and that really that upped everything. That really took the film to a new level for me. So if you want to go to the theater and watch it, hopefully you get a group as good as what I had. If not, wait and spend some money at home to rent it or to buy it. I highly encourage that. I didn't mention that this film is oddly funny. It's subtly funny, but I laughed out loud many times, and I don't think it was unnatural. I didn't feel weird because there were other people laughing as well. It felt a lot of the time like nervous laughter, but there really were some funny moments that McAvoy pulls off so well, and that's a great juxtaposition between that and the thrill and the horror of the film, which is obviously the primary tone of it. Again, I think Speak No Evil is an 8.5 out of 10. It's one of my favorite horror films of the year, again, behind only Longlegs, and I definitely encourage you guys to go see it. So until next time, peace.